Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Breaking news in Raleigh. A man was shot multiple times. This is a live look at the scene on Coke Street. What we know about the man's condition and the search for a suspect.
And I'm tracking a coastal low that's already starting to spread some rain inland. I'll let you know whether it'll affect the morning and the evening commute today.
Increased security at school. Students in Edgecombe County will be at school today after a shooting at a football game Friday night. What else the district is doing to help those affected?
Voting on growth. Leaders in Johnston County are trying to decide what to do with a 70-acre piece of land. The potential plans as a business with ties to the area reportedly looks to swoop in. A lot to tell you about here on this Monday morning as we begin a new work week. We thank you for joining us. I'm Renee Chu.
I'm Chris Levingood. Hopefully you got enough rest so we can begin the week off right. And to start things off correctly, we do have a look at your next weather maker. Elizabeth has been following that very closely in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
Yeah, we've had a pretty long dry stretch, with a little bit of rain here and there. But we're about to see some more significant rain out of this coastal low. It's beginning to spread some rain inland. It hasn't quite reached our viewing area yet, so it's not going to be a big player for our morning commute. But folks over here in Wayne County, definitely in Sampson County, southern Sampson County, starting to see a few showers. A lot of this, as it's moving inland, is going to dissipate and then gradually start to finally fall. Once we get into the afternoon, it's a 30% chance. But overnight tonight and during the day tomorrow is when we'll likely see the heaviest rain. Some of that could linger into Wednesday as well. Right now, we'll take a live look at downtown Raleigh. 63 is our temperature. Our dew point sitting at 60, so it's a little bit muggy out there. Temperatures will climb into the mid to upper 70s this afternoon with an increasing chance of some scattered showers. Coming up, we'll talk about how much rain we could see total and when we'll have our biggest risk for flooding. Ken?
6:01, Elizabeth. We're going to start to the east of Raleigh. We've got reports of Zebulon police working a crash on Highway 64 I-87, those westbound lanes. And these are the westbound lanes coming toward us. So we're not seeing any delays in that area. But if this is part of your morning commute, just know that you might run into some police activity around Arundel Avenue there in Zebulon. But as far as coming into Raleigh this morning, you're just looking at a 1-minute delay if you're coming in from Nightdale. Similarly, just a 1-minute delay coming in from Wake Forest. And over in Durham, no delays whatsoever in any of those major routes. You're getting ready to head into the car, though. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Breaking news. Police say that a man was shot several times this morning in Raleigh. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey arrived there on Coke Street and the WRAL Breaking News tracker within the past 20 minutes or so. Kelsey, officers have been on that scene for what, like 2 hours now?
Yes, Chris, pretty close to it, and you can see officers here investigating with evidence markers in the distance there. Forensics just arrived on scene. Now, this is Coke Street near Pool Road. That shooting happened about 90 minutes ago, and when officers arrived here, they found a man who had been shot multiple times. That man is now in the hospital, and officers say he is expected to live. So we'll be sure to keep you updated as we find out more information from police as we ask questions about what led up to this shooting. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News. I'm in Raleigh.
And happening here in the WRAL Live Center, an early morning crash in Durham County knocked down power lines, causing really a mess here in this area. If we'll get this video to play here, you can see crews working to make repairs. This happened around 1:30 this morning when our WRAL Breaking News tracker arrived here at the scene. This is what they saw, crews working to restore a lot of this power. So this is on NC 157 near Milton Street. The crash cleared just before 5 o'clock this morning. Those crews now working to get that power back up and get some of these power lines restored once again. We know that more than 60 people are still without power this morning, and we're working to learn more on the condition of the driver that was involved in this early morning crash.
All right, thank you, Laura. We'll stay with that story. And we are trying to learn new information this morning about an overnight crash. Our team was on Six Forks Road near I-540 in Raleigh for that aftermath. This is the correct video you're seeing here on your screen. You can see a pretty heavy police presence there. In fact, we saw one car still at the crash site with significant damage when we arrived. Highway Patrol is leading that investigation, and we have reached out to them to try to get more information.
Students at Southwest Edgecombe High School are returning to class today, just days after a shooting at a football game where 2 teens were hurt. WRAL's Monica Casey is live at the school this morning. Monica, no doubt it's a lot to process for those students. School officials have been preparing to help them as they return.
That's right. The Edgecombe County School District sent a statement to both high schools who were at that game, letting those students know there will be additional law enforcement presence on both campuses this week. The district is also telling those students counseling services are available to anyone who needs them. Now, this was the scene Friday night after that gunshot rang out at the football game, people running in every direction. We know 2 people were injured, a 17-year-old boy and a 16-year-old girl. Police tell us both of them have stable vital signs. We spoke with people who were there.
It was just a single pop, and everybody stood up, froze for a moment, and then everybody just started rushing.
Now, we're also told Edgecombe County Public Schools and the Sheriff's Office are reviewing security procedures. The Sheriff's Office said on Friday night they have a person of interest in custody, but they have not announced any arrests at this time. Live in Edgecombe County, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
Novo Nordisk could expand here locally, bringing hundreds of jobs to Johnston County. Today, town leaders will meet in Four Oaks to talk about whether to move forward with the new project. So you can see this video from Drone 5 as 70 acres of farmland off NC Highway 96 is set to be discussed. Sources tell our NC Capital team that Novo Nordisk has been scouting out this location for quite some time. The company already has been growing in Clayton. The drug maker is moving ahead with a multi-billion-dollar factory, and that is projected to create 1,000 jobs. WRAL State Government Editor Jack Hagel explains what's behind plans for an expansion in Four Oaks.
Novo Nordisk is in the early stages of looking at the property. That could be for anything from offices to labs to manufacturing facilities. It's very preliminary, and a deal may never happen, but we're told that they are looking at it, and this is the kind of property that could work for them.
And town leaders are set to meet tonight at 6:30.
Durham police are looking for the driver involved in a deadly hit and run near a bus stop. Officers responded Saturday night after someone ran off the road, hit 2 signs, and a man named Richard Ferguson Jr. Ferguson died at the hospital. This all played out along Chalk Level Road. Police think the suspect was driving an orange-colored Jeep. It will likely have damage to the front end or the hood.
A woman is dead and a man is facing charges because of a serious crash near Fayetteville's Cross Creek Mall. And police say that this happened yesterday morning just after 11. A pickup truck slammed into a Volkswagen and it pushed the car into a utility pole. This was on Morganton Road. Officers say the pickup truck was speeding and the driver of the Volkswagen, Luz Arroyo, died in the crash. The pickup truck driver, Richard Goodyear, is facing charges including death by vehicle.
Today, Vice President J.D. Vance will be filling in on the Charlie Kirk Show. He says he will pay tribute to his friend days after his death. People across the country are remembering Kirk. Vigils were held over the weekend, and several NFL teams held moments of silence before games. Lawmakers and members of the Trump administration attended a memorial service at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. People who knew him shared their memories of Kirk. Kirk's funeral is set for Sunday. President Trump says he plans to attend.
The man accused of assassinating Charlie Kirk is set to be in court this week. Utah Governor Spencer Cox confirmed that Tyler Robinson was in a relationship with his roommate, and the partner is cooperating with authorities, but Cox says that Robinson is not. A federal official tells NBC News it's not clear if there is a connection between this relationship and the shooting, and state charges are expected to be filed against Robinson tomorrow.
Another string of car break-ins in Raleigh is leading to more safety concerns. This recent example happened over the weekend at the Coastal Credit Union Music Park at Walnut Creek. Several cars were broken into at the Nelly concert Saturday night, and a gun was among the items taken. Raleigh has seen a slew of car break-ins over the last several months, including in the Walnut Creek area. Last month, police say a 17-year-old was arrested in connection to 100 break-ins, and there were more than 30 cars broken into at churches back in July. We spoke with a woman whose car was spared this time, but she's been a victim before.
A little concerning, especially because knowing even though you lock your car, it might still not be safe. Breaking it. I actually came out one morning and my car had been ransacked, like everything pulled out of the glove compartment.
Police say it's nearly impossible to prevent car break-ins, but there are precautions you can take, and that includes locking your doors and making sure you don't leave valuables or guns inside the car.
Today, NC State's head football coach will talk about plans for this week's game as the team is trying to stay undefeated. The Wolfpack is 3-0, and their most recent win was last Thursday against Wake Forest. Well, now the team is staring down a matchup with Duke at Wallace Wade Stadium on Saturday. Dave Doran will address the media at 5 p.m. today, and we will tell you what he has to say in our evening newscast right here on WRAL.
The Minnesota Vikings hosted the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday Night Football. It was tough going for J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings offense. They struggled all night and did not score a single touchdown. The Falcons ran away with the win, 22-6. They'll come to Bank of America Stadium next week to play the Panthers. The Panthers, meanwhile, are still looking for their first win of the season. They tried to stage a late comeback against the Arizona Cardinals on the road, but were unsuccessful. They lost 27-22. Kickoff for the Panthers game against Atlanta next Sunday will be at 1 p.m.
Happening today, Fayetteville Technical Community College is holding a groundbreaking ceremony for a proposed supply chain center. And the school says the $21 million project will add a 5,000 square foot classroom building and a mechanic bay. Construction will be broken into 2 phases, and the first one is expected to be completed in December. Today's ceremony will be on Old Rayford Road in Fayetteville, and that starts at 1:30 p.m. Also happening tonight, Durham City Council is hosting a meeting, and that will get started at 7 p.m. at City Hall. An agenda can be found on the city's website. Your time this morning is 6:10. Death penalty debate. North Carolina lawmakers are raising questions after a deadly stabbing in North Carolina. The call is coming from the highest levels of our government.
And school shooting memorial. People in Minnesota are honoring one of the victims of a deadly school shooting. How the girl's parents are remembering her.
And I'm tracking a coastal low already starting to spread some rain inland from the coast. We'll start to see that in our area a little later today. I'll walk you through the timeline.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:14. Let's take a quick look at the tropics. We're still following a system that's coming off the coast of Africa. It does have a good chance of development. It's 30% in the next couple of days and then 80% in the next 7 days. We're looking at sort of the trajectory of this highlighted in red. That's the general area that it's headed. And of course, we see that northerly path potentially. Way too early to know exactly where it's going to head. Some of the computer models want to give it a big curve before it hits the United States. Any potential to the U.S., even rip current danger would be as much as 8 to 10 days from now. We are seeing a lot of fronts. At least one of those should kick it out to sea, but of course, too early to tell exactly what it may do. Now, we have a low sitting on the coast right now, not likely to be tropical, but it's going to give us our best chance of rain that we've seen in quite some time. I'll show you how much you could see coming up. Ken?
All right, this is happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Got some good news to report about that crash on Highway 64, those westbound lanes. These are the westbound lanes coming toward us. That crash is cleared, so you don't have anything to worry about this morning. And in terms of checking the sensors, 0 delays coming through Highway 64, those westbound lanes near Arundel Avenue. Got a quick traffic alert for our friends in West Raleigh. A road closure starting in the 3900 block of Jackson Street. That's right near that housing community, right in the residential area. Start around 9 o'clock this morning until 3 o'clock this afternoon. This will happen from 9 to 3. They're trying to repair some water systems in that area. I'll keep an eye on it and let you know if it's going to affect your morning commute.
Ken, thank you. Should North Carolina start executing people again? It's a question that's receiving increased attention, even from the White House. It comes after the deadly stabbing of Irina Zaruska in Charlotte last month. President Donald Trump said her alleged killer should be executed. North Carolina has not executed anyone in nearly 20 years. Now, state Republican leaders say that needs to change.
We have to respond with force and strength. We have to be vicious, just like they are.
I personally am looking into ways to restart the death penalty here in North Carolina.
In recent years, North Carolina has sentenced more people to death than most other states. But the state has not actually executed anyone since 2006. For why that is and what state lawmakers say they want to change, find our latest reporting on WRAL.com.
A police officer from our state has died in a crash. Cornelius Police Department near Charlotte said that Officer Gabriel Steinbeck died on Saturday. He was riding his bike with his wife when a car hit him. He had just joined the force at the end of last year, and the department hasn't released any other details about the crash itself.
A community in Minnesota is remembering one of the children killed in the Annunciation school shooting last month. 10-year-old Harper Moisky was honored in a celebration of life service yesterday. She was killed when a shooter opened fire during morning mass on August 27th in Minneapolis. Her parents sharing how special their little girl was during the service.
She was sharp, curious, funny, and fierce. She had her own point of view, her own sense of style, her own way of being. She just packed so much joy and imagination into her short 10 years. And thank God she made it all count.
8-year-old Fletcher Merkel was also killed. 21 other people were injured in that shooting as well.
Those poor families. Breaking news, we do want to go back to that scene of a shooting in Raleigh this morning where Kelsey Coffey is on Coke Street in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. Kelsey, in the past few minutes, you did hear about gunshots nearby?
Yes, Chris, we heard some gunshots here in this area about 15 minutes ago, and then officers here at this scene on Coke Street were able to confirm that those indeed were gunshots. We're working to get some more information about what happened over there, but here on Coke Street, we'll show you this active scene now where officers are investigating. This is near Pool Road. We can still hear sirens in the distance right now from that other scene, but officers here found a man who had been shot multiple times around 4:30 this morning. That man is now in the hospital, and officers say he's expected to live. So we'll be sure to keep you updated on what's happening at this scene here, as well as the other scene that we just learned about within the last 15 minutes. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
We will certainly stay on top of that situation in Raleigh. Let's get to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, who is tracking our next weather maker. Finally, we may see some rain around here.
And we definitely need it. We're starting to creep into abnormally dry conditions across parts of our viewing area. So we could use a good soaker, and it looks like we'll see that. This coastal low right now is off the shore, and you can see where it's likely to end up by tomorrow, sitting right on top of us. Rain is likely to be heavy at times, especially to the northeast. We may see a sharp cutoff in where the heaviest rain is. So I'll show you that. Right now, we're seeing that low offshore producing some showers and thunderstorms along the coast. We'll begin to see more of that gradually moving inland as we get through the day today. Dual Doppler 5000 radar showing dry conditions for us right now, with the exception of the southern part of Sampson County. That's the only place that we're currently seeing rain in our viewing area. Looking up to the north, we're seeing a little bit of sunshine trying to peek through, but a lot of us are seeing cloudy skies due to that low pressure system moving inland this morning. Here's a look at Futurecast, and you can see by 8 a.m. there could be a sprinkle or two, especially in some of our northern counties. Once we get into the afternoon, 2 or 3 o'clock, it looks a little bit more likely, but mostly we'll see this late this evening and overnight. That's 10 o'clock. We start to see some of those heavier rain bands there in eastern parts of the viewing area. And then by 4 or 5 o'clock, that low is sitting more inland, and we're going to see a good chance for rain during the morning commute. Looks like it'll be pretty messy, some rain heavy at times during the day tomorrow, and the potential for some flooding. Our best chance of flooding for today, it's a level 1 or low risk for flooding in our eastern counties. And then for tomorrow, that will also include, say, Lewisburg, Warrenton, and South Hill, all due to the location of where that front is going to be. And of course, we could see as much as 2 to 3 inches of rain in our northeastern counties, while we could see very light amounts in our southwestern counties. And of course, where that cutoff, matter of fact, it just updated, look at that, where that cutoff ends up being, could be anywhere across the viewing area, but it is more likely that we would see some heavier rain in the north and east. Tomorrow also will be quite cool, 68 degrees. It's been a while since we've had temperatures that chilly. I'll show you when the last time we were in the 60s was. Coming up, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth, at 6:20, we're going to start outside, give you a live look at I-40 and Aviation Parkway. These are the westbound lanes coming toward us, flowing nicely in the eastbound lanes as well. Nothing to report. As far as other routes connected to I-40 and the Beltline, you're coming in from Garner-Johnston County Highway 36, no delays whatsoever coming into the Raleigh area. Similarly, that southern loop of the Beltline, all delay-free at this hour. We're not seeing any delays, relatively so, on any of the major routes heading into Durham as well. You're getting ready to head out the door, though. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Ken, thank you. Crime concerns. A Durham business is speaking with WRAL after a recent shooting nearby. The incidents that are bringing uneasiness to the people who work in that area.
And digging out of debt. 5 on Your Side breaks down the steps that you can take right now to start paying down your credit card.
And if you see breaking news, have a story tip, or take video or pictures of the weather where you are, please report it to us. Go to WRAL.com/report it to send your video there.
A downtown Durham business is raising concerns about recent crime. In fact, over the weekend, a shooting on East Main Street left 2 people injured. One man was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. The shooting happened near the bar 106 Main. You may be familiar with that. It was the second incident they experienced in a matter of days. On Friday, the bar's owner says a man punched the front window. And WRAL talked with bartender Wayne Watson, who was there both nights, about what they are witnessing.
I don't want to feel like, I have to bring a gun to work. I want people to feel safe when they go out. Our customers should be able to walk in and out and not be bothered or not, have to worry about, being hurt.
And the Durham Police Department says they are still looking for a suspect in that weekend shooting.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
Special tributes and Easter eggs at the Emmys.
Yeah, we have Ken Smith here now with What's Trending. Hey, Ken.
Chris and Renee, Easter, the summer. All right, we'll get to that in just a little bit, but let's start with that Law & Order tribute, recognized for its decades-long run at the Emmys last night. Members of the cast paid tribute to the 35th anniversary of the franchise. Mariska Hargitay, Ice-T, Esther Pay, the Hart Murkison, Tony Goldwyn, and Christopher Maloney, all there for this very special moment.
And talk about job security for the OGs on Law & Order, right? The new season starts Thursday, September 25th.
Mariska Hargitay has been around a long time doing well.
And she looks amazing. She's still awesome.
Absolutely. Hey, actress Britt Lauer taking home the Emmy for Best Lead Actress in a Drama for her role in Severance. It was her first Emmy win, by the way. Now, during her speech, a note on the back of her paper gave a subtle reference to the thriller. It said, "Let me out."
And that's her Annie talking. If you watch the show, she is fantastic in it. She plays Helly R. She's really good. All right, thanks, Ken.
I got to check that out.
You should. It's really good. All right, looking ahead, people across the Triangle are getting ready for 919 Day this Friday. That's the local holiday every September 19th, a nod to the local area code. And this Friday, a big event is being held on NC State's Centennial campus. That'll include live music and food trucks. The event starts at 6 p.m. and is free to attend.
Raleigh shooting. This is a live look at the heavy police presence on Coke Street. We now know one person was shot several times and a second shooting was confirmed nearby. What we know about both scenes.
And students returning. A return to class after a shooting at a high school football game in Edgecombe County. Reaction and response from the school district ahead of the start of classes this morning.
And I'm tracking a coastal low already spreading some rain inland. That will continue to move west across our viewing area. I'll show you when the rain could be the heaviest and when you'd have a chance of some flooding.